There is a moment that changes everything. The moment you stop chasing. Not out of anger, not out of strategy, but out of genuine self-respect. And in that moment, something unexpected happens. The dynamic you thought was fixed begins to shift. The person who seemed comfortable with your pursuit suddenly feels something different, something uncomfortable, something that forces them to reconsider everything they assumed about you, about themselves, and about what they actually want. Most men are never taught this truth. Pursuit, when it becomes your identity, destroys attraction. It does not matter how good your intentions are, how deeply you care, or how much effort you invest. When you chase someone who is not matching your energy, you are training them to see you as less valuable than you are. You are teaching them that your attention has no cost, that your time has no boundary, that your presence is guaranteed regardless of how they treat you. And women, whether consciously or unconsciously, respond to this lesson. They respond by pulling back, by becoming less available, by treating your effort as expected rather than appreciated, not because they are cruel, but because human psychology works the same way in everyone. We value what we might lose more than what we already possess. So when you stop chasing, 7 specific shifts occur in her internal world. These are not manipulations. These are natural psychological responses to the sudden absence of something she had grown used to. Understanding these shifts is not about winning her back. It is about understanding human nature clearly enough to never lose yourself in pursuit again. The first thing she feels is confusion. For weeks, maybe months, you have been the one initiating, texting first, planning dates, asking questions, keeping the conversation alive. Your attention has been the background music of her days, something she barely noticed but had grown accustomed to. And now, suddenly, silence. Her mind does not register this as indifference at first. It registers it as anomaly. Something is different. Something is missing. This confusion is critical because it breaks her pattern. She is used to knowing where you stand, used to predicting your behavior, used to the security of your consistent interest. When that consistency vanishes, her brain goes into problem-solving mode. Why hasn't he texted? Did something happen? Is he upset with me? These questions loop in her mind not because she necessarily wants you romantically, but because the pattern has been disrupted, and humans hate disrupted patterns. The confusion often leads to the second shift, curiosity. She begins to wonder what changed. What is occupying your attention now? Who are you with? What are you doing that is more important than talking to her? This curiosity is not the same as desire. Not yet, but it is the foundation, because curiosity precedes interest, and interest precedes desire. Before, she knew exactly what you were doing. You were thinking about her, waiting for her, available whenever she decided to reach out. There was no mystery, because you made yourself completely transparent. But now, there is a gap in her knowledge, a space where you used to be that is now occupied by question marks. And question marks are magnetic to the human mind. The third thing she feels is something uncomfortable, a dent in her self-esteem. Not a collapse, but a dent. She is used to being pursued, used to being the one who decides whether to engage or withdraw, used to having the power in the dynamic. Your pursuit confirmed something she believed about herself, that she is desirable, that she is valuable, that she has options. When you stop chasing, that confirmation disappears. This is not about ego in a shallow sense. It is about the way we all use external validation to stabilize our sense of self. She may have told herself she was not interested in you romantically. She may have been genuinely uncertain, but your interest still fed something in her. It still made her feel chosen, even if she was not choosing back. And now that feeling is gone. She is forced to sit with a question she did not expect. Why doesn't he want me anymore? This question is powerful because it shifts the frame. Before, the question was whether she wanted you. Now the question is whether you still want her. The person who holds the question holds the lower position psychologically, and she is not used to holding that question. The fourth shift is projection. When someone stops chasing, we often project our own fears and insecurities onto the situation. She might assume you have met someone else, that you were never serious, that you found something better. These projections say more about her internal state than about reality, but they are real to her, and they create emotional weight. Projection works because it fills the vacuum of information with story. You are no longer giving her data through constant contact, so her mind creates narratives to explain your absence. And because humans are wired for negativity bias, those narratives often skew toward loss. He moved on. He realized I am not worth it. He found someone more interesting. Each of these stories, even if untrue, generates emotion, and emotion generates energy toward you. The fifth thing she experiences is a subtle but undeniable sense of loss. Even if she was not fully invested, even if she was keeping you at a distance, your attention was still something she had. It was an option, a possibility, a safety net, and now it is not. Loss aversion is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. We fear losing what we have more than we desire gaining what we do not have. This sense of loss manifests in strange ways. She might find herself thinking about you at random moments, remembering conversations you had, wondering what you would say about something that happened in her day. These thoughts are not necessarily romantic, but they are evidence that you occupied space in her mental landscape. And that space does not disappear the moment you stop chasing. It lingers, and in lingering, it amplifies. Before you stopped chasing, she could take you for granted. Your presence was guaranteed. But guaranteed things fade into the background. They become invisible. It is only when something is removed that we realize it was there. And this realization often triggers a reassessment. Maybe I did not appreciate what I had. Maybe I was too dismissive. Maybe I should have paid more attention. The sixth shift is the most important: re-evaluation. When you stop chasing, you force her to reconsider everything she thought she knew about the dynamic. You are no longer the pursuer. You are no longer the one investing more. You are no longer easy to categorize, and this ambiguity forces her to ask deeper questions. What do I actually feel about him? This is a question she may not have asked seriously before because she did not need to. Your chase made the dynamic clear. You wanted her. She had the power to accept or reject. But now, the dynamic is unclear. You have removed yourself from the equation, and in doing so, you have created space for her to actually feel her own feelings, rather than simply react to yours. Reevaluation is where attraction can genuinely form, because attraction requires tension, and tension requires uncertainty. When you were chasing, there was no uncertainty. She knew you wanted her. She knew you would be there. But now she does not know, and not knowing creates a psychological pull. The mind moves toward resolution. It wants to close open loops, and you have just opened a very significant loop. This reevaluation often leads women to reach out, not always, but often. A casual text, a question about something unrelated, a meme, or a song that reminded her of you. These reach-outs are tests. She is checking to see if you are still available, if you still care, if the door is still open. How you respond to these tests determines whether the shift deepens or dissolves. The seventh and final thing she feels is respect. This one develops more slowly than the others, but it is the most enduring. When you stop chasing, you demonstrate something rare: self-respect. You show that you will not abandon yourself for someone else, that you have boundaries, that your attention has value and you will not give it to someone who does not reciprocate. Respect is the foundation of lasting attraction. You can create curiosity through mystery. You can create interest through absence, but you cannot create deep, sustainable desire without respect. And respect comes from watching someone choose themselves even when it is difficult, even when they care, even when they could keep trying. Women notice this. They notice when a man stops chasing, not because he is playing games, but because he has genuinely decided that he deserves better than one-sided effort. They notice the difference between manipulation and dignity. And dignity, quiet and non-performative, is deeply attractive because it is so rare. But here is what most men misunderstand. These 7 shifts do not guarantee that she will come back. They do not guarantee that she will suddenly realize she wants you. And that is exactly the point. Stopping the chase is not a tactic to win her over. It is a decision to honor yourself regardless of her response. If you stop chasing to manipulate her into chasing you, she will sense it. People can feel the difference between authentic withdrawal and strategic distance. One comes from self-respect, the other comes from ego and fear. One is grounded, the other is reactive. And only one actually creates lasting change in the dynamic. The power of stopping the chase is not in what it does to her, it is in what it does to you. It forces you to confront whether you have been giving your energy to someone who does not value it. It forces you to reclaim your time, your focus, your sense of self-worth. It forces you to build a life that is full enough that no single person's absence can collapse it. When you stop chasing from this place of genuine self-prioritization, everything changes. You are no longer waiting for her to validate you. You are no longer monitoring her responses. You are no longer building your day around whether she texts back. You are simply living, building, growing, pursuing things that matter to you. And this shift is felt. She feels it in the way you no longer initiate contact with the same frequency. She feels it in the way you are less available when she does reach out. She feels it in the way you are no longer trying to convince her of anything. You are simply present when it makes sense and absent when it does not. This version of you, the one who is not chasing, is fundamentally more attractive than the version who was. Not because you are playing hard to get, but because you are actually hard to get. Your attention is no longer guaranteed. Your time is no longer infinite. Your presence is no longer taken for granted. But even more importantly, this version of you is healthier. You are no longer draining yourself in pursuit of someone who is not meeting you halfway. You are no longer betraying your own standards. You are no longer teaching people that they can keep you on the hook with minimal effort. Some women will respond to your withdrawal by increasing their effort. They will start initiating more, asking you questions, making plans, showing genuine interest. These are the women who needed space to feel their own desire, who needed the absence of your pursuit to recognize what they actually wanted. Other women will not respond at all. They will let you go without fight, without question, without effort. And this, painful as it might be, is the most valuable information you can receive, because it tells you that the connection was never mutual, that you were investing in something that was not being built from both sides, that you were right to stop chasing. Both outcomes serve you. In one, you gain a relationship built on mutual interest rather than one-sided pursuit. In the other, you gain freedom from a dynamic that was slowly diminishing you. Either way, you win, because you have chosen yourself. This is the deeper lesson beneath the 7 shifts. The real transformation is not in her response, but in your liberation from needing her response. When you stop chasing, you stop giving someone else control over your emotional state. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop analyzing every word she says for hidden meaning. You stop building elaborate strategies to win her over. You start living as though your value is inherent, not contingent on someone else's recognition of it. You start treating your time as sacred. You start requiring reciprocity as a baseline, not as an aspiration. And in doing this, you become the kind of man who does not need to chase, because the right people choose to stay. There is a quiet strength in walking away from what does not serve you, in refusing to beg for what should be given freely, in understanding that your attention is a gift, not a burden, and that gift should only be given to those who treat it as valuable. So when you stop chasing, you are not being cold, you are not being strategic, you are not playing games. You are simply deciding that you will no longer participate in dynamics where you are the only one investing, where you are the only one trying, where you are the only one who seems to care. And in making that decision, you reclaim something essential: your dignity, your self-respect, your power. Not power over her, but power over yourself. The power to choose how you spend your energy. The power to walk away from what diminishes you. The power to wait for what matches you. The 7 things she feels when you stop chasing are real. They happen, but they are secondary to what you feel. The relief of no longer performing. The clarity of no longer hoping. The freedom of no longer waiting. These feelings are where the real value lies, because ultimately the goal is not to make her want you. The goal is to build a life where you are so grounded in your own worth that her wanting you or not wanting you does not define you. Where you are open to connection but not desperate for it. Where you can engage without attachment to outcome. When you reach this place, attraction often follows, not because you manipulated it into existence, but because you became someone worth being attracted to. Someone with boundaries. Someone with self-respect, someone who knows when to invest and when to walk away. And if attraction does not follow, you are still whole, still valuable, still worthy, because your worth was never dependent on her recognition. It was always yours, and stopping the chase is simply you remembering that truth. That is what happens when you stop chasing. She feels 7 things. But you feel 1: freedom.